Welcome back to Not That You Asked with Henry and Kiley, the podcast that walks the fine line between life advice and talking shit.
If you like today's episode, you can find all our uploads on YouTube at Not That You Asked Podcast.
And if you want, you can follow us on Instagram at notthatyouasked_podcast. There's a link for that in the description.
We hope you enjoyed today's episode.
All right, we are now recording.
For the second time.
Yeah, my dumbass brain was explaining all the misadventures that we had trying to record this little extra with our fantastic guest, Kai. I have to redo all this now.
Hello for the third time
Third or fourth
today.
time.
Third, fourth time, something like that. We've fucked it up enough now.
Hello.
We just got done recording our episode with Kai, talking about his new EP and everything, and we thought that we would record a couple extras with him because we've sort of loosened up and are just getting into like normal conversation mode. And they missed our whole reenactments of every song and our
And then our
recanting.
explanation of those reenactments happening because we tried to record, but then Henry did not realize he wasn't
'cause
recording.
My ass is high, so that's kind of where I'm at right now. But welcome back. What did we just get done talking about? Recap me. We were all talking about
Buying
going to
records.
records. Going to record stores.
shops.
Talking about records that were just like not even worth buying because they were just fucking destroyed.
Yeah.
Which is something that happens pretty frequently.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's always a very, very sad thing.
Yeah, it's never good.
No.
You found an album of that Tapestry? you
Tapestry
said?
by Carole King.
And it was just like, this is paper. Like, don't get
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
And it was fucking
sad.
terrible. So, but anyway.
But anyway.
We're continuing the conversation of stuff about music that we all like to have an opinion about.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that we didn't get to in the episode that we recorded was doing albums that we would curse our worst enemies with to have to listen to for all of eternity. Like what albums we use to torture people.
Yeah.
And I definitely have some answers.
I've got a
I don't
couple
have
too,
many.
I think.
Yeah.
I definitely don't have many, but you guys go ahead.
This is a weird take, and you would think it was music that I hated, but this one actually is one that I like. I would strand someone with that Blondie album that has Heart of Glass on it.
Oh.
Because that's an awesome album, but only for like a couple weeks.
Yeah.
And then once you've heard enough of it, you want to blow your own goddamn brains out just because of her voice. So I think that even people who like Blondie would have that similar effect. Like, you can only have so much of it before you are literally overdosing.
Okay, yeah.
So I would curse
guess.
someone with that album.
I can see that. I've got one that's like really evil and
Yeah.
like heinous.
Okay.
So there's this. I was introduced to this album a long time, like probably a few weeks ago, from my friend Max from the Swabs, who we played with this, at that barn show.
Yeah.
Also, I'm a member of the Swabs now.
What?
Yes.
How did that happen?
Mazel tov.
Yes,
Wow,
thank you.
Fucking awesome. I had
Yeah.
no idea.
Yeah, their
my
bassist
God.
Eddie. Eddie. There was like an internal sort of thing between a couple of the members of the band, and then Eddie was planning on leaving the band already anyway, but this kind of just expedited things.
Yeah.
I don't really want to go into details, but
Yeah.
but yeah, and so after I had heard about that, I was like, I went to Max. I was like, hey, if you need a bassist, I can fill in. And I talked to Eddie about it, and he was like, yeah, sure, man, that makes sense. And now that he's like gone, they're like, Max is like, hey, so you're a Swab now. And I was like, okay,
Wow.
awesome.
What a compliment.
So yeah, so that's exciting. That's really exciting.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Where are they based out of?
Crystal Lake.
Okay.
Yeah.
They said they were based out of, like, what did they say, San Antonio? Or some like far away ass shit. And they were like, yeah, we've been on tour all over the country. And I was like, wow, so those guys are from like whatever city.
Yeah.
And you were like, oh no, they're from Crystal Lake. And I was
Yeah.
like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Like, I just didn't anticipate that level of lying would be matched with that level of confidence.
It's just
just really didn't picture it.
yeah, they just get very they're just very funny guys.
Yeah. So
Yeah. So yeah, I'm Swab now. But I was introduced by Max to this album called Pure Misanthropia by, I don't really know what it is, a person, I don't know, by I think Stalag or Stalag. STALAGGH.
Oh, I feel like I had been introduced to them through some weird turn of events.
Yeah,
I think
and
Jeff might have showed them to me.
it's just like really
Yeah, that
scary,
sounds
terrifying shit. Basically,
Oh God.
the album, it's called Pure Misanthropia, and I think it's just It's literally just field recordings from an insane asylum.
Oh God.
Wow.
So
Oh God.
Not that it isn't good art. It's just also like
it's also
not
really
listening
fucked up.
music.
no,
It's more performance art than
yeah, it's hardly music,
Oh God.
but it's an album. You know, it's a track. It's an audio track that has cover art. So
Yeah,
know,
which
call
saying
it an album.
what
and
is
Yeah.
music is a way bigger question than I think.
yeah,
Yeah.
it could be. I guess it could be described as music. Maybe some type of ambient music or noise music or something. But I guess
Interpretive
technically it is ambient music.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it would be
Music.
ambient music to someone being stranded on an island, so that would make it even worse.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah,
It would
yeah.
haunt, it
That's
would haunt their nightmares
terrifying.
in
Yeah.
so many ways.
If
Yeah.
there was somebody that I had that much hatred towards, then I would probably leave them with that and nothing
what level
else.
of animosity would you
Oh
have to have?
God. Yeah.
What,
I don't
what
know.
thing
What did
that
they do
like,
to
see,
you? Yeah.
I don't even know what could be done to me that would make me do somebody so
Dirty.
so
So
terrible to
dirty.
like so just evil. Pure. That is just
Yeah.
evil, is it not?
Yeah, that
what,
sounds
what would have
awful.
to be done to me?
Yeah, the fact that you are stranded on an island and not just I want to annoy you by having a Blondie album level of annoyance,
Yeah.
but like literally like I understand that you are in hell, but I want to turn this into a waking nightmare.
Yeah,
Like,
like
You
You have to hate someone a lot.
Yeah, like
Jesus.
at this point in my life, I don't think I hate
I don't think
anybody
I've
that much.
accumulated that much hatred.
Yeah.
No, I don't think I have, which I guess is good, but
But also not for a podcast.
not
Kai.
yeah,
Come
not
on.
yeah, yeah,
Give the listeners what they want.
yeah. I don't know. I mean, yeah, if, for somebody to have to get that wished upon them by me, it would have to be a crime most heinous.
yeah. It's
Yeah.
fucked up.
I don't know what that could be, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll have to see.
I
Is there an
think-
album that you would strand anybody with?
Yes. I'm gonna go like a weird route
Go
because
for it. So far, we've all gone weird routes.
I mean, fair enough, in
Like,
different ways.
No one has said the obvious answer, which is a CD that's an hour long of just the Monster Mash. That would be torture.
Oh, that'd be
for
bad.
Sure.
Or
Yeah.
what is it?
fun for a
Adam's
little bit.
Groove by MC
Oh
Hammer.
my god.
It's like
Yeah.
this ridiculous song. It's so
terrible.
bad.
But,
It's so
hey,
bad.
What's the creative album that you have conjured up?
The Mollusk by Ween. I feel like
what are you talking about? Ween is awesome.
Ween is awesome, but like, how many times can you listen to that album in a row before
Wow.
losing it? Because
Wow.
that's the one. That's the
How many
album
times
that
can you
like
listen to any Ween album in
created-
a row before losing it?
exactly. And I feel like that's just the best fit. Like you're on
Yeah.
an island
Like, here
and
you
you're
go,
listening
here's
to
a
the
Ween album.
Mollusk, the whole album.
You got
That's-
Ocean Man.
Exactly. That's the album that like caused SpongeBob to. Exactly.
sorry.
That's no, you're correct.
That's the song. That's
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 it,
the big
yeah.
one.
No, this album is what like caused the creators of SpongeBob to want to make SpongeBob was they were
Yeah,
listening
yeah,
to this
yeah.
album. And you're
Yes.
stranded on an island. I just think that's perfect.
Yeah.
I think that's a good goodbye.
And the first shot of every SpongeBob episode is the island usually.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
that weird fish dude, and then that weird man that's like,
Oh, yeah. The pirate
thank
fella.
you. Yeah, the pirate
Ancient
fella.
memories that I have.
Yeah.
SpongeBob that in depth in a long ass time.
Yeah. And that's all from The Mollusk by Ween.
You know-
that's how we got there. Yeah, wow.
I think I'm gonna
Well-
pirate the first 3 seasons of SpongeBob when I get home. That
Yeah,
sounds like
you
something I'd
totally
like to
Kim
do.
Cartoon. You can.
Oh.
What?
Damn. You watch old SpongeBob's?
Yeah.
I've watched
watch
a lot
old
of old Drake
SpongeBob.
and Josh, to be honest with you.
Dude,
If we're going to go down this rabbit hole,
those old Nickelodeon shows, there's some really good ones, man.
I've said this before.
Cat Dog?
I'll say
Cat
it
Dog.
I
used to watch
loved Cat
Cat
Dog.
Dog was very silly.
I feel
It's
like
a good show.
I don't want to watch that.
Ren
I
and
don't know if-
Stimpy.
I don't know if I would want to watch like Fairly Odd Parents though. To be honest with you.
No, the old
We
ones. I
were-
like the old. I like
The
the
old
old ones. Those
We
are
were
good.
talking about
We were
that.
talking about.
I
you
said,
you s-
I said I cannot wait until the day when we'll be able to go into the internet like Timmy Turner.
And I almost
so excited.
I had made an Instagram post right before that, and I wish that we had that conversation before I made it, so that I could have quoted you on that.
Oh, that's hilarious.
I
so
can't
funny.
wait though. Like, do you remember that
Yes.
whole episode?
Yeah, oh my god,
That was so awesome.
That was so cool. That was
It was
like
so
the
awesome.
coolest
And, like,
thing.
Granted, they did that in Futurama too, but they were just like going to like porn sites or like
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah, we had talked about that.
What
We had
was it?
talked about that.
Yeah.
But I want to do that. I want to go into the internet like Timmy Turner.
I bet one day you can.
Exactly. I cannot wait.
Like, all right, I'm gonna go to this website.
Yeah,
I get to be
Through.
Mario in that weird, stupid like Flash game, Mario game.
but if,
Yeah.
like,
Exactly. I
in
can
the
be that
future-
shitty person on addictinggames.com.
Oh
like,
my god, playing that Archer game or whatever.
Yeah.
like the distance Archer.
or like
thing.
the
Oh my god, Apple Shooter.
Yeah.
Ah,
or like the
yes.
kitten cannon or whatever.
Oh my
I don't
god.
know if I know that one.
Remember that one?
These are more ancient memories. More
Wow.
ancient, that's fun.
Balloons. I can be the monkey.
Balloons.
Balloons.
I can be the monkey.
Jesus
Bloons Tower
Christ.
Defense.
Yeah. Like I can be that person.
That's me.
I think exactly. I think that every day. I think
Oh.
about that every day.
Cool Math. You ever play
Cool
Cool Math
Math
games?
Sugar, sugar. Yeah, bitch. I played that
Pop
on a Chromebook
Tropica?
during middle school.
Middle school study hall.
Yeah.
Sitting on the Chromebook.
Jesus Christ. Wow.
Oh.
I remember Pop Tropica.
Yeah.
Remember Pop Tropica? Okay, but
We
okay.
played-
I used to play
we
Pop
played Pop
Tropica a lot when I
together.
was a kid.
I was
But then
really into that.
but then
I
when
got-
yeah, like it was
that was
fun.
my thing.
But
That
like
and Club Penguin. Pop
Club
Tropica and
Pen-
Club Penguin.
Webkins,
I
too.
logged
never
so
did
many
the Club
hours.
Penguin thing, to be honest with you.
Really?
As much as it is
Oh.
a meme now.
I was
more of a
into it.
Webkins kid.
Neither
I
that
loved
nor
Club Penguin.
RuneScape. Was that a big thing for you guys? Or no?
I
No.
I never got into it. I always wanted to. I was always jealous of the kids that were like really into RuneScape
fucking-
and knew a lot about it.
Wizards
I
101 or whatever the
Wizards
fuck. it was.
101.
Oh
I
my
think
God,
I had that one
Wizards
for like a
101.
second. I was like, I don't know how to do this one.
World of Warcraft.
World of Warcraft. My sister was into that one. I never really played
Really?
much of that one.
You know who's like a huge like World of Warcraft nerd?
Who?
Henry Cavill. The guy that
Oh.
played Superman and the guy that
Really?
was like
And the guy in The Witcher?
yeah.
Is that him?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's
Oh,
Henry
that's him?
Cavill, the guy in The Witcher, yeah.
I only know about that because my roommate's really into
He
it.
was in the newest Mission Impossible. I know that because I just watched that
Oh,
like a
yeah.
week ago. Yeah, he was like Superman in those weird movies that were not really good. But
Yeah.
then again, DC movies aren't the best.
No.
But he's like a huge nerd. He was like late to his Superman audition because he was like playing World of Warcraft. I remember reading that somewhere and I was
Wow,
like, what the
wow.
fuck?
That's some deep horse shit right
Wow.
Yeah.
there. I don't want to take it in a totally new direction, but
No,
one
go
of the things
ahead.
that you're talking about before I fucking forgot to record was songs that we just have constantly running in our heads,
Oh,
like
yeah,
at all
yeah.
times throughout the day. And for some reason, in the conversation that you guys are just having, I was thinking about one of the songs that Ben Folds wrote for Over the Hedge.
Okay, but like
Ben
I just-
Folds, he wrote songs for Over the Hedge.
yeah,
Yeah,
he
dude,
did
he
the
wrote all the
music for
music.
Over the Hedge. It's
No,
so
really?
great.
Oh
Yeah.
my
So
gosh.
great.
I
I
really
don't
don't
remember
know
When
much
he
much
did
about that
Rock in
movie.
the Suburbs, he sang
Yeah,
that, but then
yeah,
he
yeah.
changed the
He
lyrics.
changed the lyrics so
because-
that it wasn't like really cynical.
yeah,
Oh
and
my
like
gosh.
too
I'm
adult
picking up
for
my
it anymore.
preparation age. Like
Yeah.
Wow.
can't
yeah.
say that in a kids movie with Bruce
Yeah, He
Willis.
just was kind of like, how do I make this vaguely about the suburbs? How do I take the message of Over the Suburbs but make it palatable for 9-year-olds?
And make it white.
Oh my
Wow.
god.
Oh my gosh, I didn't even really realize that. I don't remember really anything
It's
about
so
Over the
funny.
Hedge.
He
He like
also
you
did
can hear
for-
it in the movie
He
too.
also
Like
did
it's
for
all him.
Hoodwinked, didn't he?
Oh, I hated
Did
that
he?
movie.
I think so.
Wait,
I
you
hated
hate
that movie.
Hoodwinked? Oh my god, I loved
I
Hoodwinked.
could not
when I
watch
was-
that movie for some reason. I tried watching it and I was like,
What is this garbage?
I, was
I
like,
mean,
what the
it-
like what
it
is
looks
this? I
so
can't watch
shitty.
this. It looked yeah. I think I was just so I
It
was
looks
spoiled with like the
so
Pixar
shitty.
and stuff.
Yeah.
And I tried to watch Hoodwinked and I was like, this looks really bad.
It
and I
has a
don't like it.
crazy cast though. It's got like Anne Hathaway is Little Red,
Yeah.
and then the grandma was someone famous. The fox was the guy that's Joe, the wheelchair guy in Family Guy.
Dave Putty.
Yes.
Buddy. Buddy.
Yeah. Yeah. Peter. Yeah.
Sorry.
Him, and he's also like Kronk in
Oh yeah.
Goose
yeah,
Bush.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh my God.
Oh my yeah, he's great. I forget his
Yeah,
name, but he's great.
Yeah, he's in that
Yeah.
movie. There's like a bunch of other famous people in that movie, and it had like a really good cast, but it didn't do well.
Yeah.
But it's also just such a meme of a movie. Like,
it's a meme for sure.
Like, I
Just never
love
liked
that
it.
movie,
I think I
though.
need to go back and watch
They
You
had to get-
should go
they had
back
to
and
get
watch
good
it
cast
because
members
it's
they had to
good.
make up for the fact that it was a really shitty movie.
It was
Yeah.
not a shitty movie.
They're like, listen, we have the most garbage script in modern times.
No, it's
we
so
needed to
funny.
spend because we spent $40 on writers, and we're gonna spend the rest of the movie budget on getting really good actors to read this dumpster fire of a script.
No,
feel
and
like
then
I
they have
remember
a
being
second
written
one
really
too, and it's
weird.
really good.
I just remember it being written really weirdly and like
Yeah.
not enjoying it.
It's definitely like one of those movies that's like kind of for adults, but also
Yeah,
kind
but,
of
like,
like
poses
a
as a
kids
kid's movie.
movie.
Okay.
But
Yeah, if
like
you
the
watch it-
majority of the jokes are kind of like for adults.
Yeah, it's just for the
It's just
parents being
weird.
forced to watch it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's like decent enough to pass as a kids film because they don't know better because they're stupid, and then the adults just like go in and watch too.
Yeah.
You know this really.
I love that movie.
What was that?
You said about just like kids not getting all the jokes in it.
Mm-hmm.
Have
Watch
you guys
Disney
seen-
movies again.
Have you guys seen John Mulaney and the Sack Lunch Bunch?
No.
No.
Wow, really?
I've
Damn,
been meaning
it's
to.
So
Is it
it's really hilarious.
is it good?
Yeah, it's super super good. And they have so many awesome guests actually on it. But one of the bits that they do, the little shorts that they do, is the one where John Mulaney is like the leader of like a feedback group about a movie
Mm.
or like pre-screens or whatever, like shit like that. Focus group is the word. I'm looking
Yeah,
for.
yeah.
It's a focus group, but it's all children. And so he's like asking people about the references that they got in the movie. And someone was like, I like the such and such joke about like, like an adult topic. And he was like, no, do you know what that word means? And they were like, no, but my mom laughed. And he's just kind of like, perfect. It's hilarious. That whole
Oh.
thing
That's
is
funny.
very, very funny.
That's funny.
He channels this weird, like, what if Mr. Rogers was like from Brooklyn?
Yeah,
And-
and it's his
Yeah.
voice. It's his voice is
Yeah,
part of it
and, like, a
because
little
his
bit-
voice is so distinct.
It's also interesting because like, those children that he's talking to, their parents watched Mr. Rogers, but the
Yeah.
children that he's talking to is sort of like the same Mr. Rogers figure, but in like a way more updated way.
Yeah.
Like
Mm.
he asks children like, "What's your biggest fear?" And some kids say like
Spiders. Yeah.
It's crazy. You
Yeah.
just got that. But other kids are like, I'm one of the kind of like maybe like a 10 or 11-year-old was like, I'm scared about what happens if my mom or dad die.
Yeah, like
And like gave a really interesting answer, that
Yeah.
like it is just like you kind of forget in today's society that like children are still like that,
Yeah.
and have to and are way more aware of shit that you would think of, which
Well, yeah.
Mr. Rogers knew,
Mhm,
like so. I'm just going on my soapbox.
No,
here, but
I would
he
agree with
He has
that.
this really interesting forge with those kids.
I don't know.
Really? I need to watch that.
Personally, yeah, that sounds really good. But like personally, like I've worked with kids a bunch before.
Yeah,
I've
yeah.
Always treated kids like adults because
Yeah.
they should be held to that standard in my opinion. Like
Mhm.
just because you're a kid doesn't mean you have to be a little dick.
Yeah.
So I've always treated kids like adults and they have generally responded way better
Mhm.
to me. Like kids like me. I
Y-
don't
yeah,
really
same
like
here.
kids.
I do the same
Yeah.
thing. Yeah.
I don't like you should hold kids like talk to them about that stuff. They're kids.
Yeah.
Like they need to learn at
Mhm.
some
Yeah.
point.
Don't portray your own misconception of what it's like to be a child as an adult onto your child.
Exactly.
Mhm.
You're
Like 'cause they
teaching
won't-
something. You
Yeah,
can't
exactly
like
in
what you
everything
say
do.
matters. Like
Yes. Like honestly, that's why as much as it is bullshit, like put on Mozart to make your baby smarter is like dumb.
Yeah.
But also it's not like a make your baby smarter thing, but it's like a but it's just like a get them attuned to patterns and sequences and things
Mhm.
like that,
Mhm.
because that's what that music instills in you in like a really generic sense. You can discern form and shit like that.
yeah. And
So-
I will say that I dated a guy whose dad when he was like in his mom's tummy,
Mhm.
his dad would play the beginning of like the Bananagrams. It was like the la 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 la.
Oh, it's not called the Bananas.
Whatever.
Unless maybe it is. I don't fucking know.
It's
but I
like
know what
something
you're
with
talking about.
bananas. Yeah, they would sing that song. He would play that on his wife's belly, so he could hear that, and he came up really fucked up. So like, like, please be careful to like what you play
I
with your
really
kids.
did not know
Yeah.
that you were going to go that direction. I was not anticipating that at all.
Oh.
Oh my god! But I will
Yeah.
admit, I have no idea how we got to that topic of conversation.
I remember we were
I
talking
will say,
about
Mozart, playing your baby Mozart.
Yeah,
That's what
where
you
were
were
we
talking about.
before that?
Because we
I
were
feel like I
talking about-
spiraled out
like
of control.
we were talking about Hoodwinked and how it's like how it's a kids movie with
Subtle
adult jokes.
overtones for adults, and then we talked about Sack Lunch Bunch.
Yeah. But I had something kind of sort of based off Hoodwinked. Have you ever guys seen the show? Guys, ever seen the show called Wonder Shows-In?
No.
No.
Okay,
No.
it's like
Is that
it's
What is
it's
that?
pretty much okay. It's like poses as a kids show. It's like it's got the same form as like a kids show. It's puppets and it's just like a bunch of little it's like a goofy little puppet show.
Mhm.
But it makes no effort to even like pretend to be like a kids show. It's just it was on like I'm pretty sure it aired on like MTV2 at like 3 a.m. or something. And it's just like it's written by the same studio that did Xavier Renegade Angel.
Oh, yes. Yes, I know a lot
yeah,
about
yeah.
that.
And so it's just very like
Weird.
just very strange and
Yeah.
super weird and there's this one segment called Beat Kids and it's just like kids going around like interviewing people on the street and it's like kids on the street, kids on the beat kids, and there's like two fists and it just says like beat kids on the knuckles.
It's like baby knuckles.
Yeah,
Like-
yeah. And,
God.
and they're
Oh my
probably
God.
one of my favorite bits is just like this little girl, and she's like in a trench coat. She's walking around Wall Street, and she's like asking all these people that she passes on Wall Street, "Who did you exploit today?" And she goes up to these dudes, and she's like, "Who'd you exploit today?" And the guy's like, "I don't know. I didn't." And it's like, "Nobody yet." And then
And it's just Matthew
That's the
McConaughey
answer
just
of
going
someone
like,
who exploited a lot of people.
yeah, and then it cuts to like bits of her. She's got a megaphone, and she's like, "Burn Wall Street, pigs, burn!" It's great. It's great. You guys have to watch Wonder
Oh,
Shows.
man,
That's
that
good.
fucking really resonates with me.
It's
You know
extremely
what?
good, yeah.
I've started watching Mike Tyson Mystery.
Oh yes. Oh my god, I love that show so much.
so
It's
funny.
so good, right?
It's so good.
Oh
It's so funny.
yeah.
Oh man, and I've always really liked Super Jail, just super weird,
I remember
violent
that
show.
I know. I didn't get to watch it, but I've heard a
Adult
lot about
Swim
Super Jail. I've been
shows.
recommended it a bunch of times.
Did you
I've
watch Your Hole?
I've seen a bunch of your. Did you watch it? Any of
No,
it?
I did not.
Oh.
Sorry.
Oh god, you have to watch it. That's so funny. Your Hole.
I really don't know like almost any. I never watched any Adult Swim.
You watched
Oh,
the
really?
regular show.
Regular show's not Adult Swim. Oh, is it technically Adult Swim?
I thought it.
No,
it-
it's
no?
they played
Is
it.
it not?
That was it was. I think I remember it was usually the last show at the Cartoon Network block, so they
Oh.
played it
Before Adult
right
Swim.
before Adult Swim.
Oh,
See,
okay.
So it's still technically Cartoon Network. I think they meant for it, like the writers, they wanted it to be an Adult Swim show,
Yeah.
but
You know
I
what?
think
That's right. I remember watching my DVR recordings of it, and right at the end, it would do the Adult Swim thing before the
Mhm.
recording cuts off.
yeah,
Yeah. Oh, that's fair. I used to watch forever ago when I was like a freshman in high school. What's
Oh,
the one
the
with the
Metal-
metal heads?
Metalocalypse.
Yes,
I've actually
Metalocalypse.
seen a little bit.
I've
more
heard a
of
little-
that
I've-
Metalocalypse.
That
like old.
I've never I
Yeah.
haven't I've only seen like clips of that one. I
yeah.
haven't been able to get into it, but I feel like I would really like it.
I like vaguely remember stuff about it from high school because I would always watch it with like my senior friends when I was
Yeah.
a baby freshman. And I just like vaguely remember weird things. Something with like a pizza, I think.
There's usually
I don't
something
know.
to do with the pizza.
Yeah. there was a
Yeah.
character
In
in
Adult Swim
pizza,
shows.
yeah.
That's true.
It's
What
also
is-
there's also on Aqua Teen Hunger Force.
I was just
Oh,
gonna say
Aqua
I
Teen
was
Hunger
literally just about to say Aqua Teen Hunger Force.
Yeah.
That's a good.
That's
Oh man,
so great.
some of like the first Adult Swim shows. Space Ghost Coast to Coast. You ever see that one?
Mm-mm.
Oh my god. Oh my
Space
god.
Ghost Coast to
Space Ghost Coast to Coast. Because Adult Swim it first started. I think they originally just played like Hanna-Barbera reruns from like the 60s.
Oh wow.
And then
Wow. Also,
Wow.
that's also real stoner hours.
yeah.
Who the fuck came up
And-
with Adult Swim?
Jeez.
Some absolute genius.
Yes. and then they wanted to make like original shows, you know. And they had access to all these old Hanna-Barbera slides from like the 60s, like all these different
Wow.
frames and stuff. So they had access to all these characters and they could kind of like do whatever they wanted. And so Space Ghost, he was this superhero from like the 60s and he's he's a ghost and he flies around in space, just like some generic ass, superhero from the 60s TV show. Space Ghost. That's like his theme song or something. And
Space Ghost. Maybe I'm
but
learning
Space
so
Ghost,
much right now.
so Space Ghost, that's the original show, just like some superhero show. Space Ghost Coast to Coast. They took him and they turned him into like a late night show host. So he's like the superhero, but he's just like a TV personality, late show host. And his arch enemy is like the leader of his band. And no, like some other, and like there's like one of his other arch enemies or something is just like at the controls at all times. And it's so funny. It's just like very oddball, crazy, just like really sort of absurd humor. But they've had all like these really great guests on, and like they'll have like actual guests come on. Like Conan was on. They had David Byrne.
Oh my god!
Holy shit!
They had
Big League Hitters.
I think they had Bob Odenkirk and David Cross maybe at the same time.
Like around the time that Mr. Show was happening.
Yeah, like late 90s.
Okay.
Yeah. And
I love Adult Swim.
It's so great.
It's so great.
And they had like a bunch of guests, and like they really did some really insane shit with their episodes. There was one episode where the entirety of the episode, like it started off with Space Ghost just kind of doing his thing, and then he saw an ant crawling around on the floor. And he was like, "Oh." And so he was just following this ant, just like crawling slowly behind this ant. And the entire episode is just Space Ghost crawling behind this ant. He crawls from one end to the screen to the other, and then he's in a different scene, and then he crawls from one end of the scene to the other. And then it just does that for like
20 minutes,
like 15 minutes. And like I remember seeing that for the first time. This wasn't until like long after the fact that it came out, because I didn't really get into like the super old stuff until later on. But I was watching it and I was just blown away because of how incredibly stupid, but also like
weirdly genius
about it. Like it's mostly silent except for him just like muttering things to himself. He's like crawling along. And he's like, and he's just following this little ant. And it's just so great. It's so funny to me, but it's so dumb.
Art.
It's art.
Yeah.
It really is.
It
It's
is.
genius.
There are
Space
so
Ghost
many
stuff.
amazing
Holy shit.
Adult Swim stuff. Like I got
Mhm.
introduced to Xavier Renegade Angel
Yes.
when I first started dating my ex,
Uh-huh.
and not gonna lie, I still really like it though.
No,
like,
me too.
it's
I
fucking weird,
genuinely
and I
really
love
like that
it.
show. It's so funny to me.
And like, yeah,
It's just so odd.
it's so weird,
Yeah.
and that animation is really weird, and
It's really
I like
gross,
it.
but I love
It's
it.
gross, but I love it. That's how I feel about Hoodwinked,
Yeah.
because Hoodwinked is like so weird looking, and it just looks like that weird pixelated.
I'm sorry.
Ah,
I responded to his
back to
question.
Hoodwinked.
I'm
Sorry. No, you're good.
Tapped
You're
out
good.
For a second.
But like Adult Swim is just so, and it's so diverse too. Like
Yeah,
Rick and
yeah.
Morty, so popular.
Mhm.
Rick and Morty is probably
To be
the
fair,
most
I've never
popular
really
thing
read
to have
it.
ever come out of Adult Swim, in my opinion.
What's that?
I just said, to be fair, you have to have a really high IQ.
I mean, fair enough. Yeah, you have to have like a certain IQ to watch Rick and Morty, but like,
Yeah.
it's like probably the most popular thing to come out of
Probably.
Adult Swim, in my
Big
opinion. But like,
time.
it's so diverse. Like you have that weird ghost coast to
Space
coast
Ghost,
thing.
coast to coast,
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. Like that's super weird.
Space
You have Rick and Morty, and then you have like
I just love that
Super
name.
Jail, which is like a
Mm.
weird trippy acid. Just
And then they had Family Guy at one point
yeah,
too.
Family Guy. That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They started there before they went to TBS.
I think they still
Yeah.
have Family Guy.
Do they really?
That's super
not sure.
weird.
They definitely have American Dad.
Yeah.
I think that
Yeah.
might be the case.
Yeah.
And they might have the Cleveland show, but I don't know.
Oh,
if the
that's
Cleveland show's
super
even still on.
weird.
No, I don't know.
It was all like
Mm-mm.
Seth MacFarlane shit.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Family Guy was good, and the other stuff was shows.
Yeah, I didn't really
Just-
like. My friend was like, "You're gonna love American Dad. It's just like Family Guy." I'm like, "It's really not that
Nah,
good."
It's like
Family
Seth
Guy's
MacFarlane pandering to right wing people because they're with you
Yeah.
all up until you realize the hypocrisy, and they're kind of like, I don't know if I like Family Guy, or I don't know if I like American Dad. And then a week goes by, and they're like, oh, and you're American Dad. Might as well watch it. Like
Yeah.
it's for
Yeah.
the conservatives to get confused.
Yeah.
fair enough.
I guess that's kind of funny about it though.
Yeah,
Yeah, a little bit that he can make a mainstream thing.
He's really good at singing, though.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
Seth
true.
MacFarlane, like,
is,
he's
a
really good at singing.
Yeah, he's a really good singer.
Yeah.
His stuff is all kind of like.
Kind of sounds like jazzy. Like, he's like a Frank Sinatra.
Yeah, he like loves that sort of
like
like
a
swing band
sellout.
male.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that too.
Voice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Very white knight of him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow, how Tommy Dorsey of you. Jesus fucking Christ. I think Sinatra not originally with the Dorsey band, and then like he had to get a manager to be like, let him leave the band, and he was like, fucking no. Like, and just had like a really predatory contract because Tommy Dorsey was a fucking dick.
Dang.
I only know that because I'm a trombone player. But
Fair enough.
anyway, that's not important. Long story short, contracts are garbage. Hoodwinked is garbage.
Hoodwinked is not garbage. I will actually fight about that because
Wow,
you
you're
have
really gonna die on this hoodwinked hill.
I
Yeah, I
am.
don't know if it's worth it.
I am.
Don't
You like
think it
have to
is.
watch it when you're older, though. You have to watch it when you're
I'm a
older.
very-
Okay. To be yeah,
To be
I
fair,
have
just
to-
You
remember
have
watch
to.
Hoodwinked.
I won't. I'm not gonna shoot it down until I give it a fair chance. 'Cause I don't think I gave it a fair chance as a kid.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Because, like, it looks shitty. And when you're a kid,
Yeah.
you're like, oh, I like the pretty things. Like, I like this looks pretty.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Whatever.
but you don't realize that the 3D rendering on the squirrel is literally
It looks
such dog
really,
shit.
really bad.
It's
It looks
so
really
funny,
bad.
though. But
It's so
that's what
bulbous and
makes it
awful.
Yeah.
funnier. I think
guess.
it's so funny. I just think it's so funny. And it's just like stupid. I'm not saying it's good. It's stupid, but it makes me so happy.
You're not gonna
Yeah.
say it's not stupid, but you're not gonna say it's bad.
Have you guys ever seen Airplane?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my
yeah,
God.
that's a
It's so
classic.
weird.
That movie
I
is
love it
insane.
though.
I was like, I watched it for the first time. I watched it for the first time on acid, and it was like I was watching it and I was like, how did this come out when it did?
Yeah.
Like this. I was watching. I was like, this is revolution. This is incredible.
And worse, that shit's rated like PG.
Yeah. My
Oh my God,
grandfather
yeah.
showed that to me when I was 9 years old.
That is. Oh
He
my
showed me
God.
like
The-
that's
yeah,
fucked
ratings
up,
were
but like
really something else back then.
I used to
Really.
watch all these messed up movies when I was young.
I didn't understand that like children will be harmed by watching like
Yeah.
freaky shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I was 7 years old, my grandfather showed me Birds by Alfred Hitchcock,
Wow.
that movie where all those birds attack.
Yeah, I like that one. I really like
Yeah.
that
It is
one.
it is really good, but when you're 7 years old,
It's
it's a
pretty.
little freaky.
It looks.
Yeah,
It
a little
just
freaky.
looks. Just the fact that like the special effects are so sort of like primitive.
Weird.
It just
yeah.
makes it that much more like really
Creepy.
eerie. And
Yeah.
just
That's
very-
true.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, that's why the original movie of The Exorcist is
Yeah,
so
it's so creepy.
goddamn scary.
That
Yeah.
pea soup that she like barfs up, ugh,
Oh
it
my
gets me
God,
every time.
no.
It's so
Jesus
gross.
Christ. I watched
So
that
gross.
one Halloween. Eric, my roommate, made the mistake of letting me be kind of in control of the movie,
Oh.
and I was like, I want to watch this old movie that's like a beautiful film, and like it wasn't scary to anyone else, but I was like, it's fascinating. Like it was the worst. Like half the people fell asleep.
I
was
remember
just like,
one time, I think at like a bonfire you had, like started to rain and there weren't a lot of people left. So you're like, oh, just come inside of
Just
my
go inside,
basement.
Yeah.
And we started watching the original version of The Omen. You put that on.
Yeah,
Was
then
I there for
immediately
that
fell
one?
aslead. You might
Yeah.
have been. Because
Was that when we
It
tried
was-
to watch The Hills Have Thighs?
Yeah, I think it might have been. I think it might have
remember that,
been.
right? You
I do
remember that.
remember that.
Yeah.
Oh Lord,
That
yeah, I
movie is
remember that
fucked
happened.
up.
Hills Have
though.
Thighs. Hills Have Thighs. Oh my God, I remember that. That was fun.
I'm sure that happened. God, those used to be. I want to have one this fucking summer, but I'm not
I
sure we
know.
can.
I
That's
know. It would
I'm
be so
pissed.
much fun.
If anything, it'll be a back to school like end of the summer bonfire.
Yeah.
Celebrate the end of
Back to
COVID.
school bat mitzvah.
That'd be fun.
Bach to mod fits. Mool.
Yes.
Nope.
Close enough.
Nope.
Rabbi, you're having a stroke.
But no, those parties were so goddamn fun.
Those were
Oh
And
my
lot
god,
of
they are
fun.
so much
Also,
fun. And we can drink now. We're old enough.
yeah, and we can drink.
Yeah.
And also, I invite less bad people. I invite
That's
fewer
true.
people that I'm like, well, I might want to sleep with you, so I'm gonna invite you. That
That's a
doesn't happen.
given, I think.
Huh?
That's just a given, though.
I just show up and get drunk. That's what
That's
I do.
cool.
And I
No.
talk to your parents.
Well, I'm like, oh my gosh, we're actually circling it back around to what our normal podcast is, which is talking about our dating lives. But I like, I don't know, man. I feel like if someone that I was gonna sleep with was gonna be at like one of my bonfires, I like wouldn't know how to act
Mm.
because I'm just like weird about it now. I don't know. I'm trying to like, hey, fuck you, put the finger together like fucking simp
I
thing.
did do that. I'm shy.
I'm just, yeah.
Sorry.
Fucking
That was
destroyed
such
my
a
ass.
dick
No one could
move.
see it.
That
Oh my
was-
god.
Oh.
Jesus Christ. No,
Kai didn't
whatever.
even
I just
see it
wanna,
because he was looking at you.
I did not see it.
I want to be homies. That's
you were
it.
the
I
only
just
one
wanna-
that saw that.
I'm in a phase of my life where I just want homies. That's it. It's like, little bitch.
I did just totally wreck you without
Oh
saying
my
anything.
God.
Ruthless.
Holy shit.
Sorry.
Oh my god. No, that was incredible. Oh my lordy, lordy, lordy. Holy shit. I have to pee again. That was the worst.
Wow.
That was. I've been having a beer.
Wrecked you so hard you gotta pee.
Yeah, it's
I
true.
don't think that's a thing.
You hurt me.
I'm a nurse. That's not a thing.
Crushed me. Man, it's still that hoodwink song that's running through my head. I'm
Really?
sorry to bring it up again.
So good. I'm gonna go
I
home
don't
and
know.
watch it. Honestly,
Please
I'm
don't.
still probably gonna pirate SpongeBob.
I'm gonna watch
That's
a
really
Miyazaki
good,
movie.
though.
Or
I'm
just go to 123movies.com.
yes.
You know what you should start doing? If you
What?
want to watch a specific movie, just look up that movie, Google Drive.
Oh.
And people just upload them to their
Oh.
public drives and then just like have like public link sharing on. I'm not kidding you. I have stolen like 6 or 7 Miyazaki movies that way.
That's
Which is
really
what I'm gonna watch.
smart. I
Wow.
did
Yeah.
not know
And
that.
if they don't work right away, wait and then do like a low traffic time of the day, and then there are not enough people downloading it because no one's reporting it, so
Yeah.
that's how it doesn't get taken down. But of course, if there are too many
Mhm.
downloads, there are automatic spam things like pick it up immediately.
Yeah.
But I have like checked back on links like later at different times, and then it works.
Wow.
So like you can just if one doesn't
Hmm.
work right away, just wait a couple days or wait like a couple hours or something.
I'm gonna
and
need to
try.
check that out.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Yeah.
go check that out
Yeah,
too. That's
definitely
a
do.
good
You know who
idea.
suggested that to me? Jonathan Fruit.
Wow.
Yeah. He's a smart.
He's
fella.
really smart.
He's a fart smeller.
I think I saw something on his
Sorry.
I
I'm
saw
a
something on his
child.
story today how he like copied and pasted all of his
Oh my
lines
God.
for his music.
Yeah, and
and
it's
I was
fucking
laughing at that.
Gross.
It was
I-
really gross,
Instagram-
but I
DM'd him.
thought
I
it was
was like,
funny.
my eyes are bleeding from seeing this. It's so gross.
Oh my god, I thought that was really funny.
Yeah.
And then he tagged you in that thing, that
Well,
music
I
thing.
tagged him first.
Oh, whatever. I
Tagged
think
him
I saw his first. I don't know.
know.
Well, whatever.
Because what was I listening to?
You're listening to a bunch of shit.
What I was at, I chose that the Maggot Brain song because I was like, what I'm actually listening to is Thundercat, but I wanted to post something that was more Instagrammable because I didn't want to just post Thundercat. But then
Fair enough.
Jonathan Fruit posted Thundercat. I was like, well, fuck, I'm just a poser. He's not.
No, he listens to good music. He really
He
does.
super does. He's just like you in that he just like listens to so much new music all the time.
He just like is
At least
always
is what I can assume
listening.
about your listening habits. Is that you
I
listen
try to
new
just
music.
listen to as much as possible. I'm
Yeah.
trying to like just find new things all the time. It just makes it so much more exciting, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Mm.
wish I did that more. I mean, I can, but I have not dedicated the time to it.
Same here.
Every time I'm about to, I'm like, but shouldn't I try to understand what I know right now more? You know.
Every
I'm like,
time I
shouldn't
try
learn about
to,
this
I'm
shit?
like, you have something to do. go do it.
Yeah.
There's an assignment due. There's something due. But it's fine.
And also,
I'm gonna be
weirdly,
done with that shit soon.
For me, I don't listen to music when I'm like doing tasks or playing Minecraft or whatever. Like when I'm doing during the day, I listen to Game Grumps compilations.
Really?
Yeah, because I've got YouTube Premium, so I can just like turn them on and then just like turn my phone off, and I'll queue up like those 12-hour sleep aid like compilations and just
Wow.
listen to the same fucking stories.
Damn.
It's like a weird like podcast thing for me. Like I'm gonna be honest, I started a podcast. I don't really listen to podcasts all that frequently. I listen to the TMG podcast. I listen to Pod Save America.
Mhm.
I've heard a couple episodes of Joe Rogan's podcast, but I don't really listen to that
I-
stuff. But I just obsessively listen to the Game Grumps.
Really?
I don't know why.
I do like podcasts. I've been listening to like How I Met Your Mother, or not How I Met Your Mother. Fuck, My Favorite Murderer.
Wow, Freudian slip right
Wow.
there. Jesus Christ. Holy shit. I should go to the fucking police.
Oh my gosh.
My Favorite Murderer. That's a really good podcast. I've been listening to that. Sometimes I listen to like Funhouse's podcast about like video games and stuff.
Yeah.
That's
So
a
I
good one.
really like that. I don't know. That's all I listen to. Sorry about that.
I listen to Comedy Bang Bang podcast all the time. That's
Oh,
like my
damn.
favorite
Yeah.
podcast ever. Comedy Bang Bang. Also, I've been getting into this one called Hello from the Magic Tavern, and the premise of it is this guy, and basically he fell into an interdimensional rift behind a Burger King, and now he's trapped in a magical land called Foon, and
Wow.
he gets a little bit of Wi-Fi signal from the interdimensional rift. It dropped him into this place called or near this place called the Vermilion Minotaur, which is just like some tavern where all these crazy characters come in.
Wow.
And he just conducts his podcast from the Vermilion Minotaur with his friend. He's got these two regular guests on. One of them, his name is he's got some really crazy long wizard name. He's just like this crazy wizard. And this other guy who's a shapeshifter who is currently, as far as I am, he's in the form of a badger, and his name is Chunt. And
Wait,
It's like slunt.
yeah,
Slunt. I know that's another name that we would say for that. Chunt.
yeah,
Wow,
Chunt.
that's amazing.
It's a very funny podcast. I highly recommend it.
Oh, what's it called
Wow.
again?
Hello from the Magic Tavern.
Hello from the Magic Tavern. I
Yeah,
might
yeah.
have to check that out.
It's
That sounds
really,
kind of
really funny.
amazing.
I'm really into it. It's very good.
Man falls into a time rift behind a Burger King.
Yeah.
It's just
Honestly.
the best beginning of a synopsis of a show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like
Wow.
we're
That's
at
like
the
some
Don't know to
Futurama
achieve that
shit.
kind of creativity.
the point where I'm at right now, it just got like one of the episodes just got like super weird and meta, and like it's like it's making me question everything. It's like I don't really want to spoil anything, but like I listened to one of the episodes and I was like, I know this is fake, but like
Ouch.
oh my god, like it could be real. Like I don't know, it's totally fake. I don't know. It's just really good. It's very I'm just like
Self-referential.
yeah. It gets to
But
a
I
point where
love
it's just
that.
really crazy and it's just like, oh my god. But it's really yeah.
Breaking the
Highly
fourth
recommend
wall.
it. Yes.
Oh, I
Hello
love that
from the
though.
Magic Tavern. It's good.
Okay,
Wow.
I'm gonna have to check
I'm
that
gonna have
out.
to check it
Yeah.
It reminds me of like Mystery Science Theater 3000.
Yeah.
Oh, I
The premise of
love
being trapped
that.
somewhere, but being like, well, I guess we might as well watch movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Henry, do you remember when we would just watch those
The
like
touch of Satan.
The Touch of
Yeah,
Satan
every
was
fucking
so
time.
good.
And,
Mono's
you would
Hands
s-
of
like,
Fate.
One
Yeah.
of us would sleep on the couch. One of us would sleep on the air mattress, and we would watch Mystery Science Theater 3000 like super late at night on
Yeah.
my Wii using the
Oh,
Netflix
God.
app. Yeah, man.
Wow,
and I have
your
fun.
Wii now.
Wow.
Olden fucking days.
Yeah.
The embers of our now passionately burning friendship.
How long ago was that, you think?
God, long ago.
A long
Like
time
like
ago.
freshman,
Yeah.
sophomore year of high school, maybe. Well, it would have been my freshman year, maybe your 8th grade, and then
Yeah,
my
yeah.
sophomore year freshman. But like it was definitely around like 2013, 2014.
I would say probably even
15 maybe.
earlier than that.
Really?
Well, I mean, I know we started like I think I slept over at your house. I think the very first time I met you, or one of the first times, because
Maybe.
I
It was
remember the
definitely one
first
of the
time we
first
met.
times.
I
Yeah.
remember because like we were like it was gonna grab dinner. My family's gonna grab dinner with your family or something,
Mhm.
and my parents were like,
Yeah,
we
let's
got-
just ditch them at someone's place.
or they were like, you were like, you want to sleep over? And I was like, oh, can I sleep over? And they're like, yeah. I was like, okay, sure, I'll sleep over. And then I did. Yeah.
Incredible.
Aw,
Incredible.
that's really cute.
Yeah.
It started in such an innocent way.
Yeah.
Um,
Now it's turned into such a passionate affair.
and that era of sleepoverdom, I was like, if we like hadn't hung out in a while, I was like, hey, you should like spend the night and
Mm.
also come to this bonfire. So you were at like some of the first bonfires.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's where you met
Oh.
Paige, right?
Where did I meet?
Or am
when
I
did
wrong
meet
about that? I
Paige?
think you might have.
Oh no! Wait. I remember. Cause okay, I would sleep over and we would just like post silly shit on our Snapchat stories
And on Vine.
and on Vine. We would make
Oh my
Vines.
god!
We
Wow.
made Vines.
Yeah. Wow, our friendship is ancient.
Oh my
Yeah.
god. Oh yeah.
Jesus.
So we made Vines, and then Paige, she like messaged you on Snapchat or Vine or something, and was like, "Who's this?" It was me, and 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 then you were like, "Hey, my friend Paige."
Asked about you.
She asked about you. She
Y'all
thinks you're
should-
cute or something. I was like, oh yeah. And then we just kind of started talking from there. Wow.
Wow.
That's
That was before I even
hilarious.
knew either of you, I think.
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I think
That's
you
really
probably
weird.
met him because of the bonfire.
Because
Yeah.
of you, yeah.
And-
But also, it was you are also someone that I met
At the
at the
bonfires.
bonfires in that you and Paige met and me and Kelly met. Because your funny story is that you came up with was that I was just trying to
To be
Carson
friends
Sample.
with me, yeah, just to get to Carson Sample.
Yeah, I was
Yes,
like, I want to
correct.
invite Carson, but who does she know?
Kylie,
Kylie, yeah.
this white bitch. Yeah, me.
And I didn't think that because I was interested. I just thought that because I was like, you're a cool person. But I needed to figure out how to get them there.
See, but I always love saying you didn't even want to know me.
I'm
Carson
sorry.
Sample.
No,
It's
I was
so
like, who are
funny,
two
though.
people that I know?
But it's so funny. But
it was
yeah.
a little bit imagey like that, though. you know?
Honestly,
I was like, I want to hang out with. I want to be seen with this person because they're cool and nice.
But I remember doing that, and I remember my parents dropping me off, and they were just like, "Are you sure there's a party here? Like, we don't know this Henry Carpenter." And I was like,
Yes,
"No,
my
there's a
God.
party." I like show them the Facebook thing. I'm like, "It's a party. I'm going to the party. I want to go to the party." Because I don't know. I was some
Wow.
dumb high school idiot. And then Carson and I went. I said I'd meet her there. And then I went there and I just didn't know what to do because I got there before her. And I was kind of just like, just standing there. Like, I didn't even know what was happening. But then I don't even know how we became friends after
Yeah.
that. Because that was that like right before school?
That might have been around the start of our sophomore year. Or no, I think it was after our sophomore year.
I think it was like before junior year.
Yeah, it was
But
before
either
junior
way,
year.
we didn't have Capitas's class together until spring
then.
semester.
Yeah, so
It
I
was
guess,
spring semester.
Well, because like I still hung out with a bunch of the people who were in show choir combo at that point.
Fair
And
enough.
you were also
Like
hanging out with,
Phineas and
like,
Anna.
Yeah, you and K something Undergard. Who the fuck was that?
Oh, Katie Updegraff?
Katie Updegraff.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Like, and Zach Levy were dating for a while, and you were kind
Yeah.
of friends with them.
And I was friends with them. You're right.
Yeah.
Yes, and
what else am I
Thomas.
thinking? Wow, we're really digging deep on
Wow.
Wow.
This
For
is
no
like
reason.
going way back.
Um,
Sorry.
But yeah, it's crazy how just
Yeah.
like, it was bound to happen. And
Well,
then
and,
I just,
like,
invited you
I
to
had
come by
already known
accident.
Phineas because we were in homeroom together.
That's right. That's right.
that
Yeah.
too. So like I already knew him, and we would play ping pong together.
Fucking Finn.
Cause our
Finn dated
homeroom
Paige
teacher.
before I did.
Yeah, it's true. The order of succession went.
This
Finn,
is really weird.
You, someone.
Like I don't even know.
The smaller Eugenius. What's
Sam?
Yes. Yep.
Oh,
single?
Sam. Yeah.
Paige?
Yeah.
Mm.
No. No.
Yeah.
That's a soft no. I'm not 100% sure. I think she might be. I know she was. Don't know if she still is. How about
Mm.
that?
Okay.
Yeah, I'm friends with Anna. Paige and I are cool. Like Paige a lot. But then pretty much everyone else from that like whole friend group, I just am like, see ya.
I mean, I don't know. I don't really have issues with any of them. I just love Anna to death.
Yeah,
Anna's
'cause
great.
Anna's
fantastic.
great.
She came to that fucking barn show.
She did.
Yeah.
Anna's
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
best.
yeah.
She's just the best human.
And
She's
Emily.
Fantastic. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Emily
Yeah.
did go? I
I'm
didn't
yeah.
know that.
That's what I talked about on the podcast. I was like, I won't out everybody who was there, but
Oh.
like, well, I don't really care now. But it's not like it's gonna kill anybody. But I remember being like, yeah, Emily definitely is not someone that I talk to anymore. I'm just because like, and also that they were surprised that like that they saw that side of me like moshing.
Mm.
We talked about that right at the beginning of the episode today.
Yeah.
But yeah, they definitely were just kind of like, what happened to you? You gained like 30 pounds and now you mosh. What the fuck happened?
Moshing is
Who
therapeutic.
hurt
It is.
you? The answer is many people.
It's okay.
Yeah. Anyway, that got really weirdly deep for no reason.
happens, hey.
Hey, it happens.
That's just human.
Exactly.
Man.
As it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
That's the
Yeah,
After
man.
Hours podcast.
Yeah.
This is.
So it can be
We're
dark.
digging deep this time.
Yeah.
The after hours.
Call me
is-
Shovel Knight because I'm digging deep.
Oh no.
That was
God
horrible.
damn. Oh my god. Bring it back around the game grounds.
That was
Oh
horrible.
my god, yes.
I'm so sorry.
You were just showing it to me with JonTron.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
I remember
I've
actually
seen that
one of our famed Air Mattress and Mystery Science Theater 3000 sleepovers began with you being like, dude, JonTron left Game Grumps, and I was like, what? Like, cause I'd only known them, and I was like, and you're like, yeah, this new guy like Dan or whatever, and then like,
Yeah.
and now he's been on it for like
A bajillion
7
years,
For
yeah,
a
like-
long
yeah,
time.
like
Yeah,
a long
5
ass
years
time.
at least.
They have a list. They've existed for a long time now.
They have. Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
since like
I remember.
20.
I think I remember that very first Game Grumps episode that they posted
Yeah,
because I was like a fan of.
Zelda.
Yeah. No, it was Kirby.
Was it when they were playing the
Whoa,
Kirby
was it?
golf?
No.
No,
No,
It
was
was
just
like
regular Kirby?
Kirby's Epic Yarn?
no,
it was
no. It was some. I think it was some Kirby game for the Wii. I'm pretty sure.
Damn.
But I remember JonTron said the C word within like the first 5 minutes of the very first episode of Game Grumps.
They used to go there.
They did. They really did.
Wow.
Because that's where JonTron wanted to go, but I don't think
Yeah,
Aaron
yeah.
did.
No.
Wow.
And then Aaron was like, "Wow, you said that within the first 5, like in the very first episode." And John's like, "Oh yeah, I guess I did."
Man,
I think
wow.
I'm pretty sure it was Kirby. I remember. Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't really matter, but yeah.
But no, man, wow. What happened between that whole thing?
Wow. I
Because
don't
JonTron kind of
know.
like had a public incident because he like kind of said some racist shit that one time.
I think that might have been after the fact.
It was after the
Yeah,
fact.
yeah.
But it was like I remember looking it up and I was like, this is closer than I thought.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
They like I don't know
They
like
had some sort of falling out.
did they really?
I don't know.
I want to believe wholeheartedly that it was like JonTron wanted to go in like a little bit more of an energetic skit per like
Yeah,
'Cause
and
that's kinda what he does.
That's what he's.
Yeah.
It might have been that.
and
I don't know.
then Game Grumps has really stuck to its original format.
Yeah,
of like
yeah.
two dudes playing a game, making jokes about it.
But they've also added a bunch of other stuff.
Yeah.
That's true, like Steam Train and all that stuff.
Yeah, yeah. And then they
didn't
do like the
Super Mega
live
start
action
at,
things.
Game Grumps or no?
Yeah, well, they were working in the same office for
Yeah.
a while.
Yeah.
And then they kind of moved on to their own thing. They're kind of sort of starting to pick up steam and like get their own sort of bigger fan base going. which
They're
is
really funny.
They're hilarious. I like them. I like them a lot better than Game Grumps.
Do you really?
Yeah.
They had them on.
Yeah, yeah.
And they played RuneScape.
Did they?
You brought
Oh,
it up?
yeah.
We just talked about that earlier.
Yeah.
But
How the way I feel is I feel like if you get really into Super Mega, then you're just gonna stop watching Game Grumps.
That's fair. I just am. You know what I mostly love is trying to piece together the lives of both of them. It feels
Yeah.
like I feel like I have a fucking cork board in my mind where I'm like have red string like
Yeah, yeah,
Dan
yeah.
was born here, but he had this experience here, like
Yeah,
or
yeah.
some. I am so a nerd
Yeah, because
about it for
Dan's a
no
lot
reason.
older than Ari, right?
He's like 9
He's like,
years older than
yeah.
Aaron. Yeah, but
He's Jewish. Woo.
he's
Oh,
mega
yeah.
Jewish.
Jew
Very Jewish.
clang.
His dad's name is Avi Abadan.
Yeah, and he was like, his dad's from, Israel. Yeah,
Yeah.
like that's mega Jew.
It's very Jewish.
Yeah, and the story
It's
of how their
way more
parents met
Jewish
is
than
actually
me.
super cute because he was mega lost in New York City and had like
Mm.
$12 or whatever in like
Aw.
1970 whatever.
Huh.
And he asked this woman like where to go, like what subway to go to, and she was like, "That's kind of the direction that I'm going to, so I'll just ride with you." And then like showed him, and they like totally hit it off and had a conversation, and then she like exited the train with him, and he like took her by the hand and he was like, "We should go to lunch like right now," and she was like, "I'm going on a date actually," and totally like,
Oh.
but she was like, "But here's my number," and then like nothing really came of it for a
Ooh.
little while,
Hmm.
and then
Oh.
she called him up.
Wow.
Yeah, it's very cute.
Oh,
That's
that is
very
really
cute.
He
cute.
just was like super forward, but they just like met accidentally because his dad was trying to take the subway and was confused because he like
Aw.
almost exclusively spoke.
How did your guys' parents meet?
Not
I know how
English.
your parents met. How
How did
about
my
you?
parents meet?
How
Yeah.
did your parents meet?
I don't know how they met exactly. I know that they were in college when they met. My mom was in college at least. My dad might have dropped out at that point. But I know that they were living kind of far away from each other.
Mhm.
And I remember they would send letters back and forth. I know that they told me that.
Aw,
I need to
that's
ask them
cute.
about how. I know. I need to ask them about how like they originally met because I don't know if I know honestly.
That's cute.
Yeah, but
That is kinda
they're
cute.
very cute. I know that they've been together for a while. Yeah.
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 How about you? Or do you want me to go?
Oh,
I don't know. I
you
can
go.
go.
No, my dad worked at Mickey Finn's in Libertyville. Was
so
working
cute.
as a musician in Mickey Finn's in Libertyville, and my mom was a bartender there, and they just like happened to cross paths or whatever, like a couple times because he was working and he was going up to like bar staff or whatever. And then Steve Gerlach really loudly was like, "Hey, there's that cute waitress that you like," and she like heard, and so he asked her out, and then on their first date, she forgot his name. She forgot what his name
Classic
was.
Liz.
Um,
Just kidding.
oh
Just
my.
kidding.
But was like super upfront about it. She's like, "I'm really sorry. This is super rude, but can you please remind me of your name?" My dad was like, "John." Like, was not miffed. just like, don't care.
Wow.
Because my dad like was balding, but also had like a long hair ponytail at that
Oh,
point.
that's
Yeah.
That's
So
He
he was
did.
just like, "I love you" immediately.
Yeah.
But and then their second date was laundry, and then like their third date was like she followed him on tour.
Yeah, that's
Oh my
true.
gosh.
That's
Yeah.
true.
Yep.
She
yeah.
went to like Texas or something, right?
Yes, actually. Yeah, he
Yeah.
had like a show down like near Austin or maybe like near Oklahoma City actually.
Yeah.
But because I know
Wow.
that he did a little tour down in the south. Because he sent in a bunch of tapes to radio stations and he got their addresses and was like, "Please give this airtime." So,
Oh.
yeah, it's pretty funny.
Should I say mine?
Yeah.
My parents met. My mom was, before she was a teacher, she was a secretary at the same middle school that she's a teacher at,
Mm.
MacArthur Middle School in Prospect Heights. And this was in the 80s. She had a big perm that time. And my dad was a janitor at the school. And my
Wow,
dad was
I
talking to
didn't know
someone.
this. I didn't know this.
Yeah, my dad was talking to another janitor who had been working there a long time, and he was like, "Who's that Italian over there?" And the dude was like, "She's a Jew." And then my dad's like, "No." And then he walked up to my mom and he was like, "Are you Italian?" And she's like, "No, I'm Jewish." And he went, "Oh." And then walked away, and that's how my parents met. And then like
Whoa.
Like-
Oh my God.
like a couple months later, my dad was like, "Want to go on a date?" And she was like, "Okay."
Oh, that's awesome.
It's really dumb.
I like that a lot.
That
That's
is
cool.
something
It's
else,
really
man.
funny.
No, that's really funny.
Wow, that's fucking very odd.
Yeah,
I
and
like
now
that.
everyone calls me Italian, so it's fine. It makes sense.
Because you look a little bit dark, but also a little bit European.
Fettuccine.
Oh, there you go.
Wow, incredible.
Yeah, that's how my parents.
That's it. Well, we're on the gauntlet. of
Can't
how
forget
Brooke's
it.
Parents met, and how Dan Avedon's parents met.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
true. Thank you, Dan
That's how this all
Avedon, for
started.
Lots of
unofficially sponsoring this episode.
Yeah,
So
Yes.
thank you, Game
thanks.
Bros, for
Thank you.
sponsoring this.
for officially calling and saying, "Hey, can we sponsor your podcast?" And we said yes. Yes, you can.
That's yep. Thank you.
Yeah, they reached out to us.
Yes,
They did. They knew.
They wanted
Mhm.
the privilege of
Her
our
fourth
massive
episode.
airtime
Mm-hmm.
of 17 views on a video in a week.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Wow. Absolutely
It's
crazy.
impressive.
I'm actually stunned that it's that many, to be honest with you.
I would agree with that.
Yeah, but I
Thought we
feel
were
like-
gonna get like 2, and
we'll
there would be
see.
your mom and your dad. Not even my parents.
You know who listens? Joe too.
Joe
Does he?
too
Love Joe
listens.
too. Yeah.
You know what
yeah.
he
Oh.
said? John was telling me this. He was saying like, Joe too was saying, "Oh, I really love listening to Kylie and Henry's podcast, but like, does that make me creepy? I'm not supposed to be creepy, Uncle. I'm supposed to be drunk, Uncle." Yep.
Oh,
That's
oh my
true.
God, I love Joe. He's
Me
love
too.
Joe.
He's
I love
hilarious.
Joe.
Yeah,
He's
love
so
that
great.
guy.
yeah, he's awesome.
He's my favorite
He's
person.
an essential part of Simon's, and the reason why is because of the amount of horrible fucking things he says about Tits McKee.
The shit he says is so funny.
Oh my God, the shit that he says is just like, it's like, It's something crazy about like just like how stupid she is or whatever. I don't know, some very offensive thing. I was trying to conjure up an example, but I was like, I don't want to share any of these.
Yeah, they're all so awful.
It's very fun.
But he's real.
He is.
I think
real.
I think
I
the
love
first
that
time
guy.
I met
Mhm.
him, I made fun of him. And that's how we became
Oh,
friends.
no.
It was at like one of your parents' bonfire things or whatever.
Mm.
And like all of the Expo 76 people were there. And he said something and he like kind of made fun of me, or like I don't know if he was trying to, but he just sounded that way.
That's
so
just like
I
kind of his humor.
Exactly,
Too, like,
yeah.
Sort of like
exactly. So I made
light
fun of him
riffing.
back. Yeah.
yeah.
And then he was just like, "We're gonna be friends." And I was like, "Cool."
He's amazing.
What a fucking guy. All right. Well, we're approaching about an hour now.
Alrighty.
Alrighty.
So maybe it should be time to call it so we can get this whole thing edited up and I can eat fucking dinner. I'm
Mm.
starving. You ate
Yeah.
fucking less. So, alrighty. Well, thank you all for listening in.
Thank
for
you.
checking out the podcast.
And thanks,
Kai,
Kai,
thank you for being
for
here.
Of course.
coming.
Thank you so much for
Love
having
ya.
me on. I
man.
love talking to you guys.
Yeah.
It's always good to
this
talk
was
to you,
fun.
and it's good to see someone in this crazy time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Even
Oh,
if
God,
it's 6
I
feet
know.
apart.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
real,
Yeah.
for real. So, all right, we'll take it easy. Everyone, have a good night.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.